you know they're talking about revolution sounds. They're standing around the crying at the doorsteps of their armies and salvation, waiting for a promotion. Don't you know they're talking about a revolution sounds. Poor people trying to rise up and take what's theirs. Poor people gonna rise up, get their share. Don't you know you better run, 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 run. Oh, it said you better run, 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 run. 'Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. They're talking about a revolution. 'Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. They're talking about a revolution. Oh, oh, oh. They're talking about a revolution. Oh, oh, well, stand in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting on a promotion. Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? And finally the tables are starting to turn. They're talking about a revolution. Finally the tables are starting to turn. They're talking about a revolution. Oh, oh, oh. They're talking about a revolution. Oh, oh, oh. They're talking about a revolution. Oh, oh, oh.
Hello, everybody. You don't know who we are? My name is Renee Stevens. We're here to hold our elected officials responsible and accountable. You might not know about it. You might not heard about it. But the very people that we depend upon, they're covering up crimes against us, against the child. Back in 2007, my daughter, Kara Stevens, she was the victim of child abuse. She was burned with scalding water from a tea kettle. We took her to 2 different hospitals, OHSU and Providence St. Vincent. She was not treated. We did not understand that at the time. We were made to take her home and take care of her without any support, without any help. It was scary for us. my wife and I. We thought we were being responsible. We got an attorney. We thought he could help us. He didn't. He helped the people that abused her. We went to the police, and they told us, even though it was child abuse, they refused to investigate it. So, right now, I'm going to get back to our story, but I want to introduce Arietta Ward. She's going to sing a number for us. She's going to help us open this thing up.
Can you hear me now? Oh, this is fabulous. I'm honored to be here to help my friends. They call me, and this is what I do. I help, I serve, I sing around. I'm a clean servant first and foremost. So the song that popped up is a song that's not necessarily a gospel song, but I sing it in my set because we all go through things, and sometimes people, they don't understand. And but despite all that, we come out on top and we fly and we soar. It's called Angel Baby. Can you turn me down just a tad? Because I'm a little bit loud. Okay, that's what I don't want to. Broken hearted, she packs her bags, makes a run on her way to the morning sun. A new beginning she has started. As the world makes a turn and she's healing from lovers. Sometimes I wonder how she feels to be the one with the wrong end of the deal. No one knows, no one cares, yet she still flies above the air. She's an angel, baby, with broken wings she flies. Sometimes she thinks maybe life has passed her by. Oh, well, she's an angel, baby. Broken wings. I wonder how she feels to be the one with the wrong end of the deal. No one knows, no one cares, yet she still flies above the air.
So I guess I'm going to talk more about our story. Like my husband said, my name's Corellin. Our daughter was the victim of child abuse. It's being covered up by the state of Oregon. It's being covered up by our governor. It's being covered up by our police. It's being covered up by every law enforcement agency that we've contacted over the last 13 years. The perpetrators of this crime were white. They live in Southwest Portland, and they were allowed to burn our daughter up with impunity, with scalded water from a tea kettle. She has lifelong complications. The police know about this. They've heard about it, and they're doing nothing about it. And we're down here to engage the community because we're not paying our public officials to cover up crimes. Like my husband said, after hospitals, diagnosed with a burn on 10 to 20% of her body, 2 hospitals, Providence St. Vincent's and OHSU, they know who they are, and we were sent home to take care of her, and that's really where the trouble began, because the police and DHS were supposed to be called, and they weren't. I'm trying to think. We did get an attorney. He also did nothing for her. The legal system was actually used to cover up this crime. There's a lot of racism in our legal system. There's a lot of racism in our law enforcement, and it's covert. If you're poor, if you're a person of color, you're in trouble. So it's time that we have a public discussion about this, and that's why we're holding this event. We can scream about it in the streets all we want. We watch BLM unfold here, and I think we can all see that nothing has really changed. Certainly nothing changed for us. Just because people were screaming Black Lives Matter, it didn't make our daughter's life matter anymore at all. We are still being treated like we're invisible. The media is refusing to cover this. And so we are trying to let people know that we have a lot of work to do in terms of creating an equal and free system for people. And we don't need to be violent about it, but we need to be open about it, and we need to talk about it. And we need to make sure that these stories are being heard. And we need to hold our elected officials accountable every time something like this happens. We can't say, oh, well, that just happened to you, so I'm not going to worry about it. Because that means it's happening, it could happen to somebody else, and it probably has happened to somebody else. The crime that these people committed, and it was a crime, I'm going to be really blunt here, they coerced our daughter to play naked, which is a sex abuse game, and they boiled the water on the stove, and people get their children taken away all the time for far less than what these people did, but they've been heavily, heavily protected in this community. So much to the point where, to me, it feels like the state of Oregon is like being run by the KKK. That's what it felt like to us as people of color, for sure. And like I said, all the screaming and yelling that happened this summer didn't change that fact whatsoever. I mean, we've put her situation in front of multiple judges, multiple attorneys in this community, and they've all done nothing but turn a blind eye and tell us we don't matter. So I'm going to let my husband talk.
So we're coming to you, our community, our daughter's community, the people. We need your help. We need your help. Our daughter is hurting right now. She's in a lot of pain, and she doesn't understand that her community cares about her. She doesn't understand that her Black life matters. Nobody has ever told her that. Our system is the most broken because it protects the most powerful and it victimizes the most vulnerable. And we're allowing it to happen. But it needs to come to an end. And if we come together as a people, if we come together right now, we can beat this. We can stop this from happening. We need your help. It hurts me to have to say this, but racism is alive and well here in Oregon. It's not just the police. It's our entire system. It's systemic. It's our political system. It's our legal system. It's every municipal system. It's almost like it was designed to keep people of color and poor people down, to tear them down, to make them believe that they do not matter, but that is not the truth. I know that that is not the truth. We know that we matter, and that's why we're here. We are asking for your help to let them know that we matter. Like I said, our daughter needs your support. She needs your help to tell these people that she matters, to hold them accountable. Racism, it's a disease. It's a disease that plagues our hearts and minds. Yes, we have made laws. Yes, we have made policies to stop it from happening. But a disease you must cure. And we have not cured it. We have not cured the disease of racism in our hearts and in our minds. That's where we need to start. In order to cure a disease born of hate, we need to apply large doses of love. Very large doses of love. What does love look like? Love looks like one of our many allies and tools to fight hate with love is our ability to communicate with each other. It's our ability to speak up. It's our ability to tell our stories so that we can matter. That's why we're here. We need to hold each other, our community, our leaders accountable. That's our tool. That's our best tool to fight hate, to fight racism in our hearts and in our minds. We cannot shy away from the topic. This conversation does not belong in a box. It does not belong tucked away in some little room behind closed doors. This conversation must be had here. It must be had now. It must be had in every place where we can talk to each other. This conversation must be had in our minds, in our hearts. We have some very talented young people here with us to help us get this message across. And I'd like to call them up. I want to introduce them. And we've asked them to help us with their talents, to make our daughter's life matter, to make black people matter, or people of color. This is Jasmine Decker. And here we have Kimani Stevens. He's on the guitar. We're gonna have them play a song for us right now. Hope you enjoy it.
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. The brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
We haven't gotten very far. And I think what's happening is our society is crumbling. People just don't care about people. They don't care about their problems. They don't care when they're suffering. And they don't care if their elected officials are covering up crimes. Where we live in Southwest Portland, we live in the Maplewood area. It's, this little, nice, white, wealthy neighborhood. And all of our neighbors know this happened. All of them. And a lot of them have viciously protected the people who did it. We know that people of color are reprimanded at much harsher levels than their white counterparts, especially the wealthy ones. So these people, they didn't receive not one visit from the police, not one visit from CPS, not one visit from DHS. In fact, when we sued them, we were reprimanded. We were made to pay the people that abused our daughter. We were reprimanded because we got an attorney to the tune of thousands of dollars. And we were told we were horrible people because we did things like took our daughter to the hospital and asked for their homeowner's insurance to pay that very small cost, because obviously she wasn't admitted or stabilized or anything. And we've tried to question the hospitals as to why they did this, and we were threatened with arrest. So that's the state of our nation right now. And let's just be blunt about it. We're throwing people into the garbage can. And you see it here in Portland. It's very stark. There's just people lying on the road now. We throw them away with impunity. We treat life like it doesn't matter at all. The only thing that seems to matter on planet Earth today is money. And in our daughter's situation, the money was protected at all costs. And they used it to penalize us and to drive us, into economic devastation. That was a tactic used. As far as I can tell, every judge in this state should be asked to step down, especially over this. I don't have the names with me, on me at this moment, but there are many, many judges in this state who are actively involved in covering up this crime against our daughter. They signed off on it. They said it was fine. They awarded her abusers money. These people sat in a court of law and said they were playing Naked Little House on the Prairie with two 8-year-olds, and that they boiled up a kettle and that they burnt our daughter. And an all-white jury laughed at pictures of our burned up daughter and came out and said they were not negligent at all. That is the state of our legal system. So no person of color in this state is protected. And I do believe no poor person is protected. They've turned the law enforcement system. They've turned all of these systems that we think are supposed to be available to all of us. No, they're the personal playground of wealthy people now, which is why we see so many people piling up in the streets. I'm sure some of you heard they're going to give us $600. Gee, thanks. During COVID, $600. That's a slap in the face.
You give it straight to your landlord.
What was that?
So you can give it straight to your landlord.
Yeah, exactly. And he just said so you can give it straight to your landlord. And for most people, that's not going to be enough. I mean, they are being pretty blatant with how they are going to get rid of people, right? Some people without the money were being excused off the planet, literally. And they pass these bills and they take most of the money for themselves. And when you try to get redress, they just deny it to you. I mean, your attorney can lie to you and throw you under the bus. I mean, it was not only were the police supposed to be called at the hospital, but my daughter's attorney was supposed to call the police, and he didn't. And when I did call the police finally, when we really realized what happened, no, they just said, we don't investigate this type of thing. Really? You don't investigate child abuse? I don't know what's happened to this nation, but it's fallen apart. And there's going to be nothing left. I don't care who won the election at this point. You cannot have a wealthy nation like this letting people just die in the streets. Am I surprised what happened to my daughter? Not really, because she was just a toy to to these people. Oops, we broke it. You know? Get the little black girl out of here. Who cares? They didn't care if she died. And I can stand down here in the square and talk about a crime. I invited the police, by the way. They're hiding like little punks. I email the DA almost every single day. I say, when are you going to investigate the abuse of Kadira Stevens? When is that going to happen? They don't get back to me. We've visited the Federal Bureau of Investigation several times. Do you know who is running the Federal Bureau of Investigation? A bunch of rich punks who don't do their job. They sit up in there and they decide what they're going to look at and what they don't. And right now, if we call there, as me and my husband do occasionally, just to remind them they are covering up the abuse of our daughter and that she's freaking suffering because she's sitting there with nothing. 13 years later, lifelong injuries. What is she supposed to do? She had organ failure eventually. So she suffers with type 1 diabetes, osteopenia, bone bruises. She has severe depression from all of this. Like, this is really bad. They hang up on us. So that's what I've learned about our government in this journey, is it's run by a bunch of spoiled, rich punks who don't do anything. They don't do anything. Not even their jobs. I don't know what they do. It's disgusting. And that's why we are losing this country. There's no compassion. You may individually have compassion, but the people running everything, well, they think that they can hurt people with impunity. And we've stopped questioning it. We've stopped questioning why this is happening. We have social services. We have safety nets. Why aren't they being used to help people? They're taking money out of every single one of our checks. Why, when you go walking in Portland, are there tents everywhere? We pay people to organize our society. I don't think we realize this, but we pay people to organize our society. They're not organizing it. They're messing it up. And when I've been fighting for my daughter, I'm realizing, oh, you guys, you just think you can get away with this. You don't think I matter. You don't think he matters. You don't think anybody matters. And you will let somebody die on the street. But, oh, wear a mask, wash your hands. Okay, now you care. You want everybody to get a COVID shot, but you don't want everybody to have a toilet and a shower, stuff like that. Simple stuff? Exactly. I mean, what was that?
People are dying in the streets like you said.
That's right.
You need to fucking wear a mask.
Yeah, where are we at? Where are we at when people are dying in the street in the United States of America? What happened here? Well, I'll tell you what. All of our money gets put into a big pot, and then the rich people laugh and they steal it and they think it's a big joke. Okay? We try to get redress in their courts. You know who runs the courts? Criminals. Criminals. The judges are criminals. They should all be arrested, as far as I'm concerned. They rubber stamped the abuse of my daughter all the way to the top. We took her case personally into the federal court. And what did Judge Michael Mossman, little punk hiding somewhere, do? Rubber stamped it. Rubber stamped it. You know, Adrian Nelson, that's another judge. Judge Skye. Let's see, who else? Michael McShane. These people commit and cover up crimes with impunity. They will lock people up with impunity, especially people of color. Oh no, they'll throw them away. They'll throw them away. As a matter of fact, my brother right now is facing 40 years in prison. He's been on the he's had mental health issues his entire life, and he got into some trouble, and they're just throwing the book at him. They don't even care. They don't even care that he has a long history of mental health. He's a black guy, and he's gonna go rot. It's time that we change this system. It's time we start having these conversations every single day. And I'm serious, pick up the phone, call the DA, ask them about Kadira Stevens, because they will run and hide. They do not want to talk about the fact that they are covering up the abuse of this child. And just this one case, if the media would cover it, oh no, I've contacted Willamette, the Scanner, KATU, I've contacted all the media. They lie to you. They won't even cover this. They're hiding, because we filed a mountain of paperwork. So I'd like to know what other crimes they're covering up. And then I'd like to talk about the crimes that they're committing right in front of our faces every time a person is thrown out on the street to die. We're walking past people. Those are people. They're people that should not be sleeping out in the rain and the cold because they don't have any money, because they ran out of money. You know, it's like we're playing a big game of Monopoly, right? And if you fall off the board, well, you can die. You can literally die on this planet if you don't have any money. And that's a really scary thought, because we're not even taught anything about it in school. It's just, you just are supposed to jump into this complicated system and suddenly understand how to use it and how to survive it, and it's brutal. And when something goes wrong, like when our daughter got burned up, they can lie to you. They have total control. I mean, what was really scary is they told us to do something really outrageous. And that's what's happening right now, right? Shut down your business. You won't be able to take care of yourself. Shut down your business, go home, put on a mask and hide until you die or kill yourself. I don't know.
But it's for your safety, though.
Yeah, but it's for your safety.
But it's for your safety.
You know, I don't understand that. And now they're telling me, you know, get in line and get a vaccine because we care about people, but what about all the people I see sleeping in the street that I can clearly see you don't care about? So something has to change. And it's like, I'm calling my elected officials out right now. I'm calling Governor Brown out right now. I'm calling the Portland police out right now. And we do plan to be holding a lot more of events like this, because I'm going to get out in front of the Portland police, and I'm going to get out in front of the DA, and we're going to start talking. Every Friday, we're going to be holding events around the city, and we're going to start asking people, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, what the hell is going on? We are the people. Did you understand that? Each and every single one of you, you are the power. We are the power together. That's when we're powerful. They want to keep you distracted. They want to keep you away from each other. They don't want you to come together. They don't want you to be powerful. But you are. We're very powerful when we come together and when we communicate with each other and when we agree. That's our power. Our power, that's our voice. And when we use it together, things happen. Things change. That is the thunder and the lightning. That's the power that we have. They don't want you to know about it. So they try and keep you distracted. They give you these little toys to play with. Oh, listen to the news. Stay engaged in that thing. Stay engaged in this virtual world. When you are a real person and you are here right now, you can reach out. You can touch each other. You can talk to each other. We are flesh and blood beings. We are socially hardwired. We don't need electronics to gather. We don't need electronics to touch each other's hearts and minds and to change the world. We don't need electronics to do that. All we need to do is come together. All we need to do is agree.
And we need to start deciding what conversations we're going to have. When you turn on the news, that's all they want you to talk about. You know, they decide what we talk about. They decide what we're interested in. One of the things that's happening with our daughter's case is the news won't cover it, so it's not news. But it's news.
It is news.
It's big news here in Portland because there's a lot of officials involved in this. We've written all of them.
They all know about it.
This has been going on for over 13 years. So we need to start start deciding what conversations we're going to have. We can't just say, oh, it's fine that people are piling up in the streets. It's fine that, there's nothing we can do. We'll vote, right? What is voting doing?
What exactly is voting doing?
Because where's the change? More and more people piling up in the streets.
It's getting worse and worse.
Yeah. It's getting worse every single day. It's not, there's no justice anywhere to be had. Where's the justice? Because we're paying millions. I mean, millions are going into their coffers. And what do? This next bill they're gonna pass, what's gonna happen? Most of it's gonna go to the rich people.
How are we letting that happen?
Yeah.
How? We need to start asking ourselves this question. How are we letting these people abuse us? They don't have the power over us. They don't. They are supposed to serve us.
We've hired them to serve us. We pay them to serve us. Yet they sit there and they serve themselves with impunity. With impunity. They show they don't care. We don't have to ask them, do you care? We know they don't care. We see the bodies in the streets. They've told me they don't care about my daughter.
How can they say that? How could they possibly say that and then turn around and tell us to go get a shot?
Wear a mask, wash your hands.
To save our lives. To save our lives from what? I'll tell you what it's for. It's to save our lives from them. It's actually to save themselves from us. And that's what's going on.
Yeah, they have us playing these games, but the games aren't getting us anywhere. I mean...
And we can all see it.
Yeah, we could be cleaning up this planet. We could be making this... We could make a heaven on this planet if we wanted to. We could take care of everybody. Look at all we have now. This isn't 100 years ago. We're not sitting here with nothing anymore. We have all this technology. We're building these huge buildings, shelters, all kinds of stuff. Yes, sir.
I'd like to say I'm 100% all in favor and agree with what you're saying. What I want to tell everybody, okay, we all know, I call him Wrinkly Joe, this guy elected. And of course, these people of African American color, it's all a deception to make everybody go pacify and to quiet down because they're all, like Wrinkly Joe and all his friends are putting people of color, make everything look like it's going to change. They're trying to do the big whitewash.
I agree with him. He's saying that, they put people of color into positions of power, and then we think we're going to see change. Well, how about this? I contacted Joanne Hardesty. She said she was going to meet with me. Then nothing.
Then nothing.
Then nothing.
We have been down to the city council. Nothing. They listened to us, and then nothing. No change. No nothing.
People of color, poor people, we can't take this anymore. We can't take this anymore. We're dying in droves now. It's gotten to a point where we have to start deciding what conversations we're going to be having. If they're not going to be had in the media, then we just need to start having them. And it's too bad. It makes me sick that our media won't cover what happened here with our daughter, because these people need to be arrested and they need to be held accountable, because it's a crime to cover up a crime. They're supposed to be our lawmakers. Well, you're up there making the laws, then you're breaking the laws. How are we supposed to get on top of that? They can do whatever they want. And they're constantly trying to make us believe, oh, something's going to change. But all that's changing is their houses are getting bigger. They're taking up more and more space. I mean, Bill Gates has a house that's 60,000 square feet, and I'm supposed to listen to him tell me about how he cares about me when he's taking up an obnoxious amount of space, when some people can't even get a blanket or a morsel of food. What is going on is this money hoarding is a sickness. Okay, we recognize hoarding as a mental illness, okay? When you do it with anything else but money, any other object, they will say you're mentally ill. But these people have created this system where they're policing themselves and they don't police themselves.
How are they supposed to hold themselves accountable? We can't ask them to hold themselves accountable. They just won't do it. We need to hold them accountable. We need to come together and say, no more. We're not playing this game with you anymore. We actually need to stop playing the Monopoly game. And that starts when we come together. That starts when we start having this conversation. That starts when we start talking about what really matters. And what really matters is us. What really matters is life.
And that's one of the things that me and my husband do together is we wear these shirts. They say, I am the value. And why do we wear these? He made them, he created them. It's to remind us every day when we look in the mirror that we matter. Because we've been told so many times that we don't. And we've been told so many times that our daughter doesn't matter. So we do this as an exercise. We've been doing this for 7 years. We make these shirts and we wear them every day. And we've actually asked people to join us in this exercise, and
it's hard.
It's hard. People don't want to do it. But it's an important exercise
because you do matter.
Because you do matter. And you need to...
Every single one of you. You do matter. And you need to tell each other. And you need to tell yourself. Because if you don't start doing that, they're going to throw us away. If they are able to get us to believe that we don't matter, they can just throw us away.
And they're doing it every day. They're doing it every single day. People are being thrown away.
But they don't have to be thrown away. How come there is so much, yet there are so many without? We believe it. We are believing them when they are telling us that we don't matter. That cannot continue. We have to stand up. We have to stand up for ourselves. We have to stand up for each other. And it doesn't matter. What matters is that wherever we go, our voice is heard. That's what matters. This was meant to be a rally and a candlelight vigil. We have some candles here. They're little electric candles so they don't make a mess. But we'd be very, very, very happy if everyone here could join us in lighting a candle for our daughter in recognition of the pain that she suffered when she was abused. We'd be very much appreciative.
Yeah, she suffered with that big of a burn on her body with nothing but Tylenol. They gave her nothing. And 3 to 6 times a day we would change her bandages, and she would grit her teeth and cry, and it was the most horrific thing ever. So what we're trying to do is get people to acknowledge that this happened. So if you guys want to come down and grab a candle, we're going to have Kimani and Jasmine come up and do the last song. And just thank you for joining us. And
thank you for being here.
And we will be here around town doing other events. And you can find us on Facebook at Justice for Kadira. And we have a couple flyers here if you want one. And okay, I'm going to turn it over to Jasmine.
before they start this song, we picked this song specifically. We would like everybody here listening to this. We'd like you to make us a promise. We'd like for you to promise to us that you won't forget that we were here when we're done. We want you to promise that you'll remember our daughter's name, Kadira Stevens. That you'll think about her. That you'll send her your prayers and support. That you'll ask about her. That you'll ask our officials, our public officials about her. We want you to join us in holding her abusers accountable. We want them held accountable, not just for our daughter, but for every suffering person that we see everywhere. We're asking for you to promise. Make a promise to us, make a promise to her, and make a promise to yourself. That we're going to start changing what's happening here. Because we need you. We need you to come together. We need you to help us change this circumstance on our planet. We can fight hate. We can beat it. That's right. We can fight hate. The only way to fight hate is with love. We can beat it. So promise me. Promise me that you're going to remember.
Although I try to find, I always hope a place for you will find. Think of me if you miss me once in a while, then I'll return to you. I'll return to that space. Your touch, your kiss, your warm embrace, I will find my way back to you if you be with me. If you dream of me, I will dream of you in a place that's warm and dark, in a place where I can feel the feeling. memory, your touch, your kiss, your warm embrace. Long for you, and I have desire to see your face, your smile, to be with you wherever you are. Remembering your touch, your kiss, your warm embrace, I find my way back to you. You say we'll be waiting. Together again. It would feel so good to be in your arms, where all my journeys end. If you can make a promise, if it's one that you can't keep, I vow to come for you. If you wait for me, and say your hope in place for me. In your heart, a place for me in your heart, a place for me in your heart.
We need to rally for each other. We need to rally with each other. And I really hope that you made that promise to not forget. Don't forget your power. Don't forget that together, our voice is what matters. It's what is going to change things for everyone on this planet. Remember, please,
I just want to say thanks everybody for being here. I think if you were here, you were meant to be here. And look for more from us, because we intend to get justice for our daughter, but we also intend to get justice for a lot more suffering people. Because we're going to start having this conversation here in Portland. And we're not going to be violent. We're not going to be writing on things. We're not going to be destroying anything, but we are going to be holding people accountable. And we are going to be very publicly asking for these people to step down. If they were involved in covering up this crime against our daughter, they need to go, because they've probably covered up other crimes. And they're blatantly committing crimes by leaving people to die in the streets. That's not what our government's supposed to be for. Our government is supposed to help us organize so that kind of stuff isn't happening. And we've stopped recognizing that because they decide what we're talking about. They decide what we're thinking about. They decide what's news and they decide what isn't news. So it's time for all of us to just start very loudly having this conversation. And our plan is every Friday, we may be down here, we might be in front of the police station, we might be in front of OHSU, we might be in front of Providence St. Vincent's, but we're going to start marching around this town, and Justice for Kadira is going to be justice for everybody. Okay?
Question.
Yes.
Okay. So what about the dual diagnosis is the possible between mental health and addiction and the health of our kind of people that aren't getting those kind of help?
No, I agree. We need better services for everybody. But one of the reasons we're not getting those services, he was asking particularly about mental health services. And
Dual diagnosis.
Yeah, I'm just saying in general, of course, everybody needs more help. But what's happening is our public officials are corrupt and they're not doing their job. And I can't go to work and not do my job. Most of you can't go to work and not do your job. But they've decided, they've decided when they're going to do their job and when they're not going to do their job. And they've decided how we're going to feel about that. And they're kind of deciding everything because they have this little thing called the media. And they just talk, and nothing gets figured out. I think here in Portland and LA, San Francisco, we're now literally stepping over bodies in the streets. Where to even begin? But we need to begin, and it starts with this right here.
Unification. You said it right there.
Yes, we need to unify as a people, and we need to start deciding what kind of conversations we're going to have. And I know the media is afraid to cover my daughter's case because it means holding a whole lot of people accountable, because I contacted a whole lot of people.
There's a whole lot of powerful people involved in covering this up.
And so it's been difficult to get our story out there. I also want to mention, I wrote a book. It's on Amazon. It's called Justice for Kadira. So if you purchase that, you can really read our entire story. But we really have fought some very powerful people here, which is why it's been difficult to get the information out there. But I did put a lot of effort into writing that book, and it really goes into depth of why or how this happened. But I'm very concerned about what's going on here in Portland, just because I've tried to talk to all of these officials, and they
don't help.
They don't help. They don't do their job.
They don't even care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
If it's not for putting my money in their pocket, they don't care.
That's
You
right.
said it. If it's not putting money in their pocket, they don't care.
But that's not their job.
Yeah.
Their job is to care, actually.
That's what they're hired for. That's why society hired them.
That's why we elected them.
No. See, what most people don't know is that the proportion is done every 2 years. So it's like,
Oh, the Congress?
Yeah. The most important vote, and us as a people don't even know that. But like,
That's right.
And that's why they keep staying off of it, because we don't know that the people that are supposed to be representing us as the people are being able to stay because we're not voting.
That's right. We think the most important vote is for the president, but it's not. It's our congressman.
It's the Senate, our chamber,
They are rare.
Exactly.
I met a guy 5.5 months in jail recently, a Mexican, and he was a good guy.
See, so we do need to start coming together.
And I really believe in our court system.
That's what they're afraid of. That's why they're trying to divide us.
Yes, we are being divided on purpose. Because that's where their power lies, in keeping us divided. Fear and division. This is a very powerful tactic of theirs.
How do I join y'all's initiative? I would love to join.
You can look for us. Right now, we're just on Facebook, Justice for Kid Europe, but I'll give you a flyer. I'll give you a flyer.
I would love to be part of this initiative. I'd love to.
Yes, please join us. That's what we're asking people to do. Join us. Because we have the ammunition. We have the power to hold these people accountable. Right, it is in our Constitution.
If there is a tyranny going on that we disagree with, we have the right and the duty
Yes.
to stand it up as the people.
We have the power. We have the power to change our society or abolish it. To change our government or abolish it as we see fit. That's right. Well, here's the thing. You think that it needs to be some kind of violent thing. This does not need to be violent. We can change things with just our voices, just us coming together and saying, wait, no. You're not getting to do this anymore. You are not getting to do this anymore. And all we need is your voice. So together we stand. Divided we fall. That is a true statement. That's right. Divide and conquer. That's what they use. It's a military tactic. It's a tactic of war, and they're using it. Our own government is using it on us.
And they're using it as things to release these viruses.
That's right. How can we trust them? My wife and I, we're very skeptical. I believe in science. But we're very skeptical because they're saying everything around COVID is being done for our safety because they care about us. But we know for a fact that that is not true. It is not for our safety.
They're trying to control resources because we don't have the population to control.
That's right. Together we can make each other matter. Together, our voices can count. All we need to do is join together. All we need to do is look around and see that what's happening here is not okay. It's not all right. Not at all. But we can change it. We can change it. Yeah, come together. Please join us in holding these people accountable. We can change this. Everything that they're doing right now, we don't need people suffering on the street. We don't need these people covering up crimes against us. We can change this. All we need is your voice. All we need is for you to come together and join us. That's what we need. We can make your voice matter. We can make our voices matter. All we need to do is stand up and be heard. That's all we need to do. Don't let them scare you. Their tactics of fear, their tactics of intimidation, that's why we're still here. That's why things are getting worse.
They're the biggest big bang in the world.
That's right.
They're the biggest big bang in the world.
Our government is like a mafia establishment. It's like the mafia. They're running it like a mob.
If not, we're worse. If not, we're worse.
That's right. They are not. And my wife and I, we've been in the courts. You need to understand. In the court system is where your rights happen. And I'm telling you, they have total and complete control. My wife and I, we went to the court system to access our rights. And you know what they told us? Denied. They were able to deny us our rights because there was nobody looking. There was nobody looking. When they took our rights away, there was nobody looking. And that's how they do it. That's how they get away with it.
Yeah, that's a big problem, you guys. Empty courtrooms. We need to start filling up the courtrooms because these judges,
They do whatever they want.
they are criminals.
They are criminals.
They are criminals.
And they will cover up crime after crime if we don't stop them. We need to come together and start telling them, I'm sorry, but you are going to do your fucking job. Sorry for the language.
Well, I mean, the thing about the big pedophilia was covered it up.
Right. Yeah, look at what happened. Look at what happened with Epstein.
That's a small portion.
Okay, that's just one example. That's just one example.
All those Hollywood stars, all those.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people suffering under this tyranny, and it needs to stop. And we can stop it. All we need to do is come together as a people. We need your voice. We need you to be heard. And we can stand up wherever we are. And together change. We can make a change. Please hear me. That's right. I hope you do.
Our forefathers would be so mad at us.
I know.
Now,
He's right. Our forefathers would be rolling in their graves right now. They probably are. Because they gave us the power. And that's what our government does not want us to understand. We have the power.
Absolutely.
But unless we use it in the right way, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change.
And then it's still convicted self-stamp alone.
That's right.
Okay, so if you're convicted of a crime, how is your voice no longer going?
Yeah, no. If you're alive, if you're here, your voice matters. If you're a living being here on this planet, your voice matters. And we need to come together as a people in order to make that so. We need to rise up together and be heard. That's our power. That is our power. Sure. I don't know. These are the questions that we need to ask. So she's actually asking about COVID. Is it germ warfare? It might be. We're not exactly sure.
It's exactly what it is. It's population control.
Yeah. I don't know.
Here's the thing. I can't even ask the government something simple.
Yes.
Why wasn't my daughter treated at the hospital? Why was I lied to? You know, they can't even answer that question. So I'm really having a hard time with everything else that's going on right now because I filed complaints with the Oregon Health Authority. We filed complaints, with the Oregon Medical Board, stuff like that, and they just throw it all out. Those systems aren't there to help. They're just another pathway. They tell you there's a process. That's all there is. They're just putting you through a process. There's no justice at the end of that process unless you have a ton of money. That's the only way you're ever going to get heard. And so the only thing we're hearing right now is money talking.
That's right.
That's it. And people are just being
Marginalized.
Marginalized.
We're being pushed to the side like we don't matter. That's not the case though. That's not the truth. That's just what they want us to believe. That's right. Oh, please. Oh, that's just the... Once again, we're gonna continue to have events like this, and we're gonna continue to find ways to publicize it so that you know about it. But we're gonna start. We want to bring together our voice as a collective, and we want to start talking about what really matters. And I hope you join us. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll be back.